Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel RJK Tutorials. Today I am going to do the review of environmental studies subject. Now this is one of the important subject introduced in the NEP syllabus for all the streams of UG programs such as BCOM, BBA, BCA, BSc, BA, BHM. The main purpose of introducing the subject is to create an awareness in the youth and the students regarding the environmental pollution, environmental destructions, and other things. As you know that today the global earth environment is totally getting destroyed or is in the phase of destruction because of the extensive human activities. So these destructions can include like acid rain, global warming, ozone layer depletion, population explosion, etc., etc. So in order to create an awareness and to prevent the destruction that is happening to this environment, to educate the public, to educate the youth, so this subject is introduced. Now apart from that, we are thinking about what is called as the sustainable environment, that is how to use the technology and the science for the development of human civilization, at the same time prevent the destruction of the environment. So this is what is called as the sustainable development. So in order to focus on these issues, this subject is introduced. Now, myself, I am Rajendra Kumar. So let us see what is the syllabus of environmental studies in NAP. Now, this is a part of Ability Enhancement Compulsory Course or AECC. This subject, as I told earlier, is introduced to educate the youth about the various issues, problems faced in the environment, and also focus on the sustainable development. Now, this subject is for 2 credits. The number of lecture hours is 45 hours and number of field work hours is 5 hours. So totally it is 45 plus 5, 50 hours. Now the unit of this particular subject focuses on introduction to environmental studies. So this is for 2 hours. In this, you'll be studying about the multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies, how various subjects are interrelated to the environmental studies. You'll be studying about the scope and importance of studying the EVS, the concept of sustainability and sustainable development. So these things you will be studying in the first unit. The second unit is for 6 hours. In this, you will be studying about the definition or the concept of ecosystem. So in this, you will be studying about the interrelationship between the abiotic as well as the biotic factors, how they are involved or how they are integrated together to form a particular environment. So that is what you called as the ecosystem, and the structure and function of ecosystem, and the energy flow in the ecosystem, how the energy flows from the producers, consumer, decomposers at different levels, how the energy is going to flow. That is what you're going to study. In this, you'll be studying about the food chains, food webs, and ecological succession. And you'll be studying the various case studies on following ecosystems. So which are the ecosystems that you have to study? You have to study about the forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem. So this is further divided into freshwater and marine water ecosystems such as ponds, streams, lakes, rivers, oceans, and estuaries. So this is what you will be studying in the second unit or the chapter, ecosystem. The third chapter is titled Natural Resources. In this, you will be studying renewable and non-renewable resources, and the duration of this particular unit is 8 hours. In this, you will be studying about the land resources, how land is going to contribute as one of the important natural resources for human beings and also the plants and the animals. So this is what you will be studying, and you will be studying about the types and distribution and land usage, and what are the changes that is happening in the land resources. because of the extensive human activities. So these things we'll be studying. And also we'll be studying about land degradation, soil erosions, and desertification. So these are the problems related to the land degradation. And apart from this, we'll be studying about deforestation. What you mean by deforestation? What are the causes, what are the impacts, and how the mining activity is going to create deforestation, and dam building on the environment. You know that dam is going to have a lot of advantages, but at the same time dam building also can create or can have a negative impact on the environment. So that also we'll be studying. So what are the negative impacts of dam building on the environment? And forest destruction, biodiversity destruction, and migration of tribal populations. So all these things are related to the topic called as deforestation. How deforestation is going to create all these problems. Then, apart from land resources, you'll be studying water resources. So, what are the different sources of water, distribution of water, and what is the status of water availability in the earth? You know that water is available as a pure water as well as the salt water or the marine water. So, how it is distributed across the earth, and use and over exploitation of surface and groundwater. So we are studying about the problems related to the use of water resources, that is the use and over exploitation of surface and groundwater, floods, droughts, conflicts, interstate conflicts regarding the sharing of water. Now recently we have seen the problems between the Tamil Nadu as well as the Karnataka pertaining to sharing of water. What are the different conflicts that are arising between the different states in India pertaining to sharing of water? So these sort of case studies you will be studying here. So apart from the types of water sharing, what are the international as well as the interstate related issues are there? So this will be dealt here. So apart from that, we'll be studying energy resources. So in this, we'll be studying about renewable and non-renewable energy resources, use of alternate energy resources, growing energy need. As you know that the industrialization is increasing day by day. Because of that there's a huge demand for the energy. How we are going to meet the growing demand of this energy? What are the case studies related to this? All these things are dealt in this particular chapter, natural resources. The next chapter is biodiversity and conservation. This is for 8 hours. Here you will be studying about the levels of biological diversity, specific to genetic, species, ecosystem diversity. So in this diversity, you will be studying about the concentrated uh, ecosystems at one particular location. So that is what basically biodiversity is. So how biodiversity is going to play an important role in the environment. The genetics, the species aspect of the biodiversity you'll be studying here. Biogeographic zones of India, which are the biological or the biological diversities hotspots in India. So those things are dealt here. So biodiversity patterns and global biodiversity hotspots across the different continents. So that also dealt here. And the third important thing is biodiversity hotspots in India. So where we'll find the flora and fauna concentrated, which parts of India these biological hotspots are there, how they're going to impact the environment and also the human life. So those things we'll be studying here. So India is the mega biodiversity nation. What are the endangered and endemic species of India? What are the threats we are facing to the biodiversity, habitat loss, poaching of wild animals, man wildlife conflicts, biological invasions? So these are the things you'll be studying. Apart from that, you'll be studying on conservation of biodiversity, in situ and ex situ conservation of biodiversity. So how to conserve the biodiversity? We'll be studying the two important methods here used here is in situ and ex situ conservation of biodiversity. And the last topic under this particular chapter is ecosystem and biodiversity services, ecological, economic, social, ethical, aesthetic values of the biodiversity, the ecosystem. So how it is going to have a ecological, economic, social, ethical, aesthetic value. So that is what we'll be studying here. So next one is environmental pollution. So this chapter is for 8 hours. In this, we'll be studying about what you mean by environmental pollution, the types of environmental pollution, the causes, effects, and control measures. So in this, we'll be studying more on air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and noise pollution. So apart from that, we'll be studying climate change, global warming, ozone layer depletion, acid rain, impacts on human communities and agriculture, how the climate change is creating all these problems, how they're going to impact the human communities and the agricultural development, nuclear hazards, human health risks involved in this. So, I mean, the solid waste management, control measures of urban and industrial waste pollution, and case studies related to these environmental pollutions. So this is what you will be studying. For example, like Chernobyl nuclear disaster, Bhopal gas tragedies. So these sort of case studies you will be studying. So through that you will be studying about the impact of environmental pollution on the human community and the society at large. So the next chapter is environmental policies and practices. This is for 7 hours. In this, you'll be studying about environment laws, which is actually called Environmental Protection Act. So in this, you'll be studying about Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, Wildlife Protection Act, Forest Conservation Act, Solid Waste Management Rules and Regulations. So what are the guidelines the government has given pertaining to disposable of waste, international conventions or treaties on environment? In this, we'll be studying about Ramsar Convention, Montreal Protocol, Paris Agreement, Basel Convention, and Convention of Biological Diversity, which is called CBD, and natural reserves, tribal population and rights. So, what are the rights of the tribal people? Uh, and human wildlife conflicts in Indian context. So the next chapter is on human communities and environment. This is for 6 hours. In this, you will be studying about human population growth. You know that India has become the number one country in the world in terms of population. What are the impact of population explosion on the environment, human health and welfare related issues, resettlement, rehabilitation issues? What are the resettlement and rehabilitation of projects that going to affect the person, case studies related to this resettlement and rehabilitation. Then you'll be studying about disaster management related to floods, earthquakes, cyclones, landslides, tsunamis, and etc. Other things, environmental movements like Chipko movement, Silent Valley movement, Apiko movement, Salu Marada Timmaka movement, all these things. Environmental ethics. This is ethics related to the environment. So role of Indian and other religions and the culture in the environmental conservation, how religion play an important role, how the culture play an important role in inducing the ethics. So ethics basically tells about what is good, what is bad. So we know that ethical values are incorporated to us through religion, through traditions, through values, through various things actually. So how these ethics are related to environmental studies, what are the ethics related to environmental studies, and these things we'll be studying here. So apart from that, environmental communication, public awareness, case studies related to solar energy park of Karnataka. So these things we'll be studying here in this particular chapter. The last one is the field work. This is for 5 hours. Here, the students are given an experiential learning. So here, the students have to visit a local area to document environmental assets. It may be related to a pond, a lake, a river, forest, grassland, hill, or mountain. So they have to go there, they have to take pictures, they have to study the local ecosystem, visit to a local polluted site in the neighborhood. It can be related to a rural area, urban, industrial, or agricultural related pollution, and study of common plants, insects, and birds. So this is what you have to do. And study of simple ecosystem such as pond, river, hill slopes. And this field work is for 5 lecture hours. So here the students have to go to these places, study these related issues, and they have to document, and they have to submit a mini project, which will be considered as a field work report at. So these are the things that you have to study in the EVS. So thank you very much for watching this YouTube video. Don't forget to subscribe, and you can reach to me through this email ID raj.blitzkrieg at gmail.com. So any comments or any views, or I mean any feedback if you want to give, so anything if you want to tell, you can have a contact with me through this particular email ID. So my email ID is raj.blitzkrieg at gmail.com. So thank you very much for listening to this video. Don't forget to press the bell icon and subscribe the YouTube videos. Thank you very much.